Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the 𝐤𝐄𝐄 and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very, very much. Two groups of you guys is who we thank. We thank the group of our family who is with us live, who makes every single Shabbat amazing. And I'd like to thank the other group of people who come much later. And it is a Shabbat time right here. And my apologies as my son is not petting the dogs that is sitting right here. I hope that he will do this now. And we are the family who believe that the laws, statutes, and commandments that are found in the first 5 books of scriptures are the posts for life. They're the guideposts for life. They are what we can live by. They are what we can grow our family by. They are what we can change our life and our direction of our life. And as all of us are coming out of Babylon and coming into covenant, what that means is a covenant is something that our Creator has offered to us. Now, the covenant is not a one-way covenant. Our Creator doesn't say things like, if you will, I will just give you everything, right? He doesn't say things of that nature. Like, what he doesn't say is, I will provide you with everything. You don't have to do anything for me. A covenant is a two-way direction. It is a legal document in both our world that we live in right now, as well as our Creator's world. And that covenant, our Creator says a couple of things. He says, if you will obey my laws, found in Genesis through Deuteronomy, my statutes, and my commandments, I will be your Elohim Most High. I will be your Creator. And then he says, you will be my people. It's a two-way street. And so if you want to be a child of the Most High, if you want to be what they call a child of God, it's not a once saved, always saved journey. It's not a decision at 8 years old when you raise your hand and that you say, excuse me, that you want to be saved, right? That entire once saved, always saved, it does not hold up. It does not hold any weight when you compare it to scriptures. There's many times in scriptures where people of our Creator have turned their backs on our Creator, and the whole once saved, always saved doesn't work. In fact, Matthew 7 very clearly says that our Messiah, who most of you guys call Jesus the Christ, he tells people to depart from him. When you tell somebody to depart from you, that's not an open-armed, cordial hug and an invitation into your house. When people say depart from me, it means kick rocks. It means get burned. You're out of here, right? It's not, you don't open your door and tell people to depart from you and everybody smiles, right? The people who you've told to get out are very sad. They're very upset. And when you had somebody come to your house and you tell them to depart from your house, they're not leaving with happiness. They're not leaving with security. They're not leaving with bread in their tummy. They're not leaving with anything other than they're leaving your doorstep. And that is what our Creator's Son has said. Many people in the end days will be calling upon his name and thinking they're doing all these great things in his name. And he's going to tell them to kick rocks because they are Torahless. They are lawless. They do not care about what the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator have to say. And so it's better for them if they can nail it to the cross, if they can say things like the law has been fulfilled and that thousands of years of walking with our Creator means absolutely nothing because he sent his Son, and after he sent his Son, it's all about grace, 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 and nothing else matters. And that entire grace doctrine does not hold weight under scriptures either. Good morning, everybody. Kate, please open us up in prayer.
Risen Father, thank you once again for your weekly appointed time you've set before us. You told us to keep if we want to be your people, and we are here. We ask that today our obedience is counted as righteousness as we are here following your Torah, doing what you told us to do, and we congregate all around the world. We ask that you are with us today, that your Spirit Ruach is with us, that your Son is with us, that we are together all as one united, seeking your ways, seeking your will, and seeking your word. We thank you for this Shabbat. We ask that today is blessed and it is sanctified by your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, all right. So let us get into what we do every single week.
The grand asked for drum rolls.
Oh, drum rolls? We need drum rolls. What are we doing?
When you first started.
Oh, Shabbat, we need drum rolls? All right, everybody, drum rolls. All right, that is the best jungle band that you'll ever find. That is about 6, 7 fingers on the table, pounding away. So here we are. Now, for all of us out there, what Jaden is about to read is something that if we had one verse in scriptures, and that's the only verse that we ever had, And this is what we had to follow right here. This is probably a wonderful verse to follow. Now, we should all understand what this is. This is talking to all of us out there. If you are a child of the Most High, if you are a Torah keeper, if you are a law keeper, if you are somebody who is in a servant of the Most High, then this is for you, because you would be called Yisrael. Yisrael is obviously the name of our forefathers. The name was changed, and there's no other name for people of our Creator in Scriptures other than Hebrew people. And when you talk about Hebrew or Yisrael, you're talking about meaning crossing over. And so if you want to be a Hebrew, if you want to be a Yisraelite, then we need to cross over. And crossing over simply means that we begin the covenant path with our Creator, and that is a covenant path of obedience. Jaden.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way. You shall bind them as a sign in your hand, and they shall be fronts between your eyes. You shall write them on your gates.
Okay, so here we have it as we're beginning our morning quest. Miss Nicole, can you please give a shout out to our brothers and sisters and family that are out there, and for those who are coming later on in the Shabbat or tomorrow, whenever you guys do come, much love to you all. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
All right, we have Irma, we have the Grand, Jeannie Not of This World, Candy, Ruby, Jeremy and Kellen, Sylvia, Lisa and Bear, Rosie Chica, Elizabeth. I'm scrolling here. Give me a second. Katrina, and I think I got it. I apologize.
All right, well, welcome everybody. We thank you guys for and what we're doing right now. What we're going to be going through is these laws, statutes, commandments that have been lost to the majority of the world. And when I say lost to the majority of the world, it is by people's choosing that they are lost from the world, because we live in this world, in a world of so-called religion, where everybody in religion has the answers to salvation, and everybody has the answers to how to believe that they can get into salvation. But the problem is, it's completely contrary to what the actual scriptures say. So we're going to go through these scriptures, and these are the things that us, as the people of our Creator, have been instructed to do. Every single one of these commands are very, very important, and every single one of them means something to all of us. And if you are willing to write these commands on your heart, mind, and soul, if you are willing to walk in them and to observe them, to be faithful to our Creator, then He said He will be loyal to us. And the loyalty isn't just something that you can't see. There is something you can absolutely see with it, and it's called spiritual protection. It is called that our Creator aligns you and sends down his backs, the linebackers, right? You have a whole set of linebackers as people of the Most High, a spiritual defense force that is always constantly battling the things we can't see. And that is what our Creator does, is He takes care of His people. And it is scary in a world that we are in, such a demonic world, in such a satanic world, in such the end days world, that if we did not have this spiritual protection, then every single place that we go, we are in contact with unclean spirits. We're in contact with things that could potentially hurt us from a spiritual side. And our Creator, He defends us from all of that, which is why it is very important that we do all of this. Okay, so as we begin into this, we are going through these laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, let us begin. Commandment number 1 is be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
They are bearing, and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Okay, let's go back real quick. I'm going to start on this. Do not eat the blood. It's been years and years and years since I've actually eaten out. And so the other day we actually ate out for the very first time because we were stuck in this little town. And we had a hamburger. Now, this was at one of these restaurants, and she offered us like rare, medium well, or whatever version of the hamburger. And so I was thinking about that, and we're so kind of jungle people that we don't go to restaurants and things. So I didn't know they actually ask you how you want your hamburger. So these are one of these things that if we are uneducated, and back in the days, I used to eat my steaks rare, medium rare. As the joke was, it was so bloody it could possibly get up and start moving. That's what my grandpa used to say. Everybody loved their steaks bloody and all this stuff. Well, we have a commandment right here: do not eat the blood. And this is as simple as having your steaks well done, right? Have your hamburger well done. Have no signs of blood, because we know from scriptures that life is in the blood. And if we're eating the blood, then we're going against what our Creator wants us to do. And there's an entire group of people out there that they drink the blood and they love it. And they're Satanists, they're devil worshipers, and that's what they do. So we are told to be different than the rest of the world. And it's simple as, having your stuff well done. Next, walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations, which his name is not God, right? So that simple commandment right there, when we're calling him God or calling him something else, that's not remembering his name. So we have to very, very much. Blood transfusions. Let's talk about this real quick. The Grand talks about this. I will tell you right out of the gate, it's something funny too, because we were out at this other little market thing earlier this week, and I had this old lady come up to me, and she goes, "Hey, I want your kids to give blood. We need some young blood." And back in the day, I probably wouldn't have cared too much, but as we are into the Torah community and the Torah world, there's something about blood, right? There's something about pulling it out, and I'm probably going to get taken outside the city gates and have rocks tossed at me on this. But the answer to her is no. We're not going to give blood. We're not going to do anything of that sort. When one of us unfortunately get cut up to the point where we're going to die, I do not believe that we will ever go in for a blood transfusion, right? I don't think that's going to be in handing myself over to the medical establishment and having foreign blood transfused into your system when we're not supposed to drink the blood. There's something far worse and nefarious about injecting the blood, right? And even though they haven't figured out O's and A negatives or whatever it is as far as blood goes, as far as us and our family goes, if we end up getting hurt to the point where we have to have blood transfusion, I'll just let it go, and it's going to be over, because I'm not going to take foreign blood into my system. Anyone else?
Sister Barb says don't do it. It's full of bacteria that they don't test for.
Yeah. Plus, now there's absolutely things I cannot say on this platform, but you would not want to get a transfusion in these day and age right now. It wouldn't be good for you at all. Okay. Let's
One more thing.
Okay, what do you got?
Sister Barb says don't give away your life, which is in your blood.
Yeah, don't give away that's part of it, right? You don't know what's going to happen with the blood. That's the thing about the human body, right? If you're not completely dead, your body will regenerate the blood that's needed if you can make it through that point. And I would rather be dead and maintain my soul than I would to try to spare my life for 5 seconds by injecting blood into my system that is, I don't know where or who it is or any of that sort. So
Sister Barb says 3,000 a unit is what they charge your insurance to, and they get it free from you.
yeah, I'm not even going to get into that, because these are topics of disbarment from YouTube. But yeah, if you research the Red Cross, it's not what you guys think it is.
Rosie Chica says, yeah, it's mostly poison.
Yeah, don't do it. So there's a lot of stuff. All right. I was in a coma when I had to have blood 5 times. Yeah. I don't know. Once that's the thing is there's like a DNR for us. Like if one of us gets jacked up, we're just going to sit and pray, and we will hopefully see each other on the other side when it comes.
I have 2 things.
All right.
We have a new person, Lori Adams, welcome, and she says the spirit is in the blood. And then...
And that's what the Satanists say as well. That's why they drink this stuff, and they actually get high by doing it. And when you study the evil stuff like adrenochrome and what they do, they will literally torture the children almost all night to get that fear and that anxiety so much in the blood, and then they kill that child, and then they drink that blood. And there's been so many different people that have talked about how they get high on this, and so it's messed up. So,
well, and then Irma has a question. Is it okay for medical checks, like to have it checked?
your blood?
Yeah.
Man, that's the thing is for us and our family, after how do I say this? After we have seen the unfolding of what the end times looks like, and all of the people that went rogue on the end times, I don't know if I would ever go in to have any of my stuff drawn or done again. That's just me. That is for all of this. I'm sure there's lots of reasons too, and I'm sure I may change my mind in the future. But I don't trust anyone anymore. I really don't. And so, but at the same time, people will probably toss rocks because I am a full-fledged diabetic that is not on any kind of medication at all. And what happens is if I'm bad on my diet, I lose my vision really, really bad, almost immediately, like the next day. And so the only way that I can figure out is where I'm at is by pricking my finger and by checking my blood. And I've had various thoughts about that. Definitely. I mean, there's so many commandments on the blood and stuff like that. And so I've always been at kind of divisive in my own mind on whether or not I should even be like pricking my finger and checking the blood that way as well. Because it is important. Our Creator knows all of the stuff. And I don't know. Let's continue on. They use routine labs in a way to boost revenue. I worked in the medical profession for years. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like mechanics. You walk in the mechanic and then they'll say, hey, 5 minutes into it, you need this, and this, and this. By the time you're done, it's really, really crazy. And so that's their job, is to do all of this. And, I don't know, or I don't know if it's right or wrong as far as that goes. For us and our family, we're just running it like it is. Okay. Next one, keep the Passover. Pesach is the commandment we're on to.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread. Festival of matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew. So guys, that right there, understand that 40,000 different religions are breaking this commandment that is reiterated 5 times right here, right? Because when you're saying there's one law for a person who is considered a child of the Most High, and there's one law for the stranger, that means we all have the exact same laws. And if you are attending a church on Sunday, you are going against the Torah. You have your own Torah. You have your own laws, and they are not the laws of our Creator. They're not His Torah, because everything that we're reading right here applies to the children of the Most High. The children of the devil don't need to worry about it. Yah's not interested in the children of the devil. Okay, sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name, not keep the Shabbat.
Okay, hold on. If your sugar goes down, try, what's that talking about?
Try doing push-ups to restore your sugar levels. That's if you have low.
Yeah,
low blood
this
sugar.
isn't it. This is a gluttony. This is a gluttony diabetes stuff. This is where you eat one piece of sugar at all, and your blood sugar goes up into the 400s. Because I've done this to myself, and so this is why we shouldn't be gluttons, and we should not live in excess, because our bodies are not meant for the world that we are doing things consuming. You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name, do not.
Keep the Sabbath, Shabbat day. Very important. We've had a great discussions on the Shabbat over this stuff. I've talked to people about Shabbat. Last week, guys, remember this? I talked about the Christian conundrum and about this little family that we had out here that we've been talking to. And I said that they were under a Christian conundrum where they ended up with football games or basketball games or games for their kids on a Shabbat. And I told you that I didn't know how this family was going to go. I literally got a message the day after, or the same day. And this message sent shivers down my spine. I began to, I didn't even know what to do. I literally started like almost quaking, because he said, this little family with these little kids, he said, you know what? We gave up all the sports. There were tears. There were people, it was just a hard thing. He said it was even harder than Christmas. Right? Getting rid of Christmas, because the kids love their sports, but it was on a Shabbat. And so after I was talking to you guys about this, and I got word that this little family had made the decision that Yah wanted them to make, that they wanted to be children of the Most High, and that they did whatever it took at the expense of the tears and jeers of the kids. I think it is simply amazing how many people are being brought into the kingdom, how many people have their eyes open. In fact, this week as well, I've been working with another gentleman, and I've been talking to him for weeks about keeping the Shabbat. And all of a sudden, he's popping in, and he goes, you know what? I'm keeping Shabbat next week. He's like, I got stuff, I got things I got to do this week, but he's done. I'm going to start keeping it. He asked us what the guidelines for were, and I'm like, you know what? You're to rest. Don't worry about business. Don't worry about pleasure. Worry about rest, and that you are doing it. And he's one of those guys that is a go-getter, right? He burns the candle when there's supposed to be a candle at 2 ends. He burns it at 8 ends. And so it's going to be real interesting to see these people as they start beginning their covenant journey. And, you know, they will be changed, right? Their lives will be changed. Everything about them will be changed. All right. Honor your parents.
Do not kill. Do not break wedlock. Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, you shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws, Torah, for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Let's go back up to this do not lie with beasts, because people don't know this. You know, there's third world countries out there that actually have dog brothels. And I didn't know about this until a couple weeks ago. And a guy, there was a hacker guy. And there was like 2 or 3 countries that actually allowed dog brothels, and they have dog brothels. And so this little hacker guy went after all of these guys, and he actually got in trouble himself. But that was his thing, was trying to bring awareness to these countries that allowed things like this. And you know, you don't actually know what you're talking about when it says "do not lie with beasts." A lot of us can't fathom this kind of evil, right? This kind of great destruction, and so I found that very, very fascinating. But for those who do not know, there is a thing. I mean, instead of a prostitution with women or men or whatever, it's prostitution with animals, and so that does exist. And a commandment is absolutely not to do that. And also the effects of lying with a beast is that the beast and the woman or man is supposed to be killed. And so it's not something that's supposed to be among us. It's not something that is supposed to be okay. There's no such thing good. We are not to lie with beasts. There's no if, and, or buts. I mean, I can't believe I have to explain this, but we don't lie with beasts, right? And that's just the part. And I'm sure you guys out there know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, no sacrifices to other Elohim or gods.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, turn to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
Do no false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Yeah, let's go back into Sister Barbara. She's talking about Canada is absolutely one of those people. In fact, on the books of Canada, bestiality is actually allowed, right? There's actual, I remember that from about 5 or 6 years ago when I found out that Canada had that law. I was always wondering about the world of Canadians and how this happens. And I'm sure not all Canadians are definitely not into this, but it's obvious that there are enough Canadians that they make it a law in the books. So it's legal to marry animals. Yeah, and it's getting kind of weird in the States as well, where you have these people that are dressing up and they live their life as animals as well. It's the world is getting very, very twisted in all things. Okay, continuing on, what we're supposed to do with the animals is we're supposed to help the animals of our enemies.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat and its mother's milk.
Obey the messenger who sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no comment with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make her use this anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make her use perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do not eat the fat. That's one of those things, guys, right? It's simple, basic stuff. If we say the laws of our Creator are nailed to the cross, and we're sitting there like my mother, who will not stop eating this giant chunks of fat on her steak, it's not good, right? These are tips for life, right? People are like, oh, we can eat the fat, right? Because all food has been made clean. Guys, fat is not a food. That is a byproduct of like storing things that animals or pregnant things or anything of that sort is able to eat later, right? It's a thing that is it does it to preserve your life at a certain point, or it's just saying you're too fat, and we're not eating, right? We should not eat that. That is not part of what our diet should be. But again, you will find people, and they're like, well, the laws of God are gone, and so we eat the fat, we eat the pig, we eat the roadkill, we eat what we want to do. Okay, next, do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation. You're to stay away from your woman.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the day of atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not cover the nations to your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for a wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle in a wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Do not or keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, on account Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shimni Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being an Nazir.
Wear tzedakah on the four corners of your garments.
The Torah of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Find the Torah laws upon your hand and the front between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah, as pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
That's a real hard one, guys, right? Do not do what is right in your own eyes. That's the Christian conundrum right there, right? And that is the Christian conundrum that this little family down here in the jungles figured out, which is so incredible that I didn't know what they were going to do. I really did not know how they were going to do it, especially where kids were involved. And they came and they passed the first test of Yah's people, right? And they did what was right in Yah's eyes and not their own. So congratulations to them. Amazing. Do not hearken to the words of false Nevi'im, prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give in exchange of clean food that died itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase to seed year by year.
The laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken to the Nabai Yahuwah has chosen.
The Nabai test of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is the adult portion.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies and not the mother.
If you build a house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it. Let's go quickly back to the woman should not wear what pertains to a man, or nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. I think this would, see, back in the day, I don't know if they had, they didn't realize, I don't think, what was coming. Like, we live in the world now, like, a lot of people in North America, they put on cat suits and dog suits, and they actually live the life of an animal. And you'll see them, they're walking around. They have a human that is walking the people on a leash. I think this with this same, there's a lot of different Torah commands that do this. I don't think it's right in the eyes of Yah to turn yourself into what you think is an animal, because just because what you're seeing out there is a piece of the perversion of what these people do. And if you're seeing that it's a human that walking like an animal on a leash, just imagine what these sideshows will do later on, right? There's something really, really wrong with the way the world's going. And these are the kind of actions, these are the kind of things, as you see these commands, a woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. I don't think the people should, and again, I'm not adding to or taking away, but I think something in here would have us not get into a cat suit or a dog suit and walk around and pretend we're not human anymore. So it's just a state of the world that we're in that's really, really sick. Okay, continue on, guys.
Hold on. The grant says no law of tithing. I don't remember hearing you read one.
Yeah, there is no law of tithing. I mean, there's no such thing. We live in a religion system that has been built on 10%, right? You would not have 40-some thousand different denominations if there wasn't a business model built into them. That's why you have 40,000 different religions. Every single one of them are contrary to what we're reading right here, and every one of them are shaking out the people, right? If the people weren't there to give them 10%, because the people have been programmed with a lie that they have to give 10% of what they have. Now that's not biblical. That does not hold up. If you wanted to, if you really had a guy that was teaching on a Shabbat and you wanted to give them tithing, you would bring in some, you bring him an oxen, right? You bring him some flour, some new flour. You bring him some oil. You bring him the stuff that we were supposed to give the priests back in the day. The entire concept that we were supposed to do with priests is we were supposed to sustain them with food and what they needed to survive so that they did not have to have other jobs as they are ministering to our Creator's people. And you don't have these people anymore because you have these guys standing in a pulpit. They are contrary to the ways and wishes of our Creator. So these people are actually demons that are bringing people into the depths of hell, and they're taking 10% from them, and they're getting rich. That's why you have so many different churches. It doesn't matter. You can have a little Baptist church with 60 people in it, and they a month because there's a couple of wealthy people in there that are just putting in that 10%. That's not biblical. There's no such law about this 10% tithing to these man-made demon guys in these churches made by man and these 501c3 churches. Okay, let's continue on. If you find a bird nest with the mothers and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that you lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a first millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not press hard to this poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has a child, you shall lay his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
Mr. Guess, go on.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, and so I agree. I agree with all this stuff Jeremy said on that. Yeah, we're supposed to take care of orphans, widows, and lepers, right? That's the whole thing that we're supposed to take care of. We're supposed to take care of the prisoners. We're supposed to take care of the priests. There's a whole group of people that we're supposed to take care of, and it doesn't happen now, right? It just doesn't happen. The orphans are left into a world of hell that they all have themselves, unfortunately. And it's a really sad world. All right, so here we are, guys. That was the law, statutes, and commandments that, again, everybody doesn't want to do and nobody wants to follow. From what we've just read, they all look very easy to me. They look like something that is not bondage. They look like something that will keep you alive. And I hope they look like that to all of you guys, because the Torah is about life. And it's also about death as well, because there are blessings and there are curses that come with it. And so if we are in Torah, if we are keeping it, then we get the blessings. If we are outside of it, then we get the curses. And a lot of people don't even know the blessings they were supposed to have because they don't keep the Torah. And so there's all these blessings that we could have had all our lives and things, and they don't start coming in until we become loyal to our Creator. All right, so here we are, Exodus 37, guys. Jade, will you please take us on a quick recap of what has happened to this point, and where we're at. Jade?
So Moses was up on the mountain getting commandments from Yahuwah. He heard noise down in the camp. He was told him the people had gone astray. He went down there back with people known as the Ten Commandments. He was angry with them. He threw them to the ground, broke them. The Levites ended up killing 3,000 people who had gone astray, made the people go astray by worshiping the golden calf. He went back up to the mountain to get more. He could write the Ten Commandments again. So he told Moses to go get stones, and so Moses had to go get stones and cut them this time instead of Yahuwah making them. He went back up there, got more commands and blueprints, and now he has two people with wisdom and other people giving materials to build this stuff. And so we have Betsael and I think it's Othniel. They are building all Yahuwah's stuff he wants, his temple, the ark, everything.
Yep. Yeah, there's lots of ways to give time. And people ask, they've asked me before, like, hey, see, that's the thing is Boss Clan has zero way to ever like send us money, right? We don't have donations, we don't have tithe here, we don't have anything. We don't accept that. And people ask us, they'll ask us all the time, how do we donate to Boss Clan? We tell them this is how to donate to Boss Clan. Go find some dude on the side of the road that has a help needed sign, and go and don't just give him money. go and sit right next to this person and sit down with them and start giving them a little bit of love, right? Just talk to them. How are you doing? What's happening, my friend, right? Spend a little bit of time and show these people a little bit of love, and find out their name. Find out how they ended up there. How are they doing? What's life look like in the future? Just give them a little bit of love, and on the way out, take them some place to eat, right? I would never suggest somebody eating McDonald's, but if you guys are on the side of the street and these guys are hungry, then go take them to McDonald's and sit with them and give them some love. That's how you would donate to Boss Clan, because that's what we're after. And so, yeah, give the word, give word food. Absolutely. Tell them about Messiah Yahushua. Tell them about that there's a better way. And I mean, most people know about Messiah Yahushua. They all know about Jesus, and that, you know, that's all they really know. But they don't know what came before our Messiah, which was the laws, statutes, and commandments, and why we had to have our Messiah. So that's how you would donate to Boss Clan, and just give them a big hug. And I know that's really hard because a lot of people look down on these guys. They're dirty, they're grimy. But we will absolutely sit down right next to these guys, and we will, if we are able to give them a hug on the way out, we will give them a big old hefty hug and tell them they're loved, and head them out. So that's how to do it. Okay, so here we are, guys. Exodus 37. And Betziel made the ark of acacia wood 2.5 amma long and 1.5 amma wide and 1.5 amma high. And he overlaid it with clean gold, inside and outside, and made a molding of gold all around it. And he cast 4 rings of gold for it, for its 4 feet, 2 rings on its one side and 2 rings on its other side. Mama CA's in the house. What you love, Mama CA? And he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. And he put the poles into the rings at the side of the ark to lift the ark. And he made a lid of atonement of clean gold, 2.5 amma long and 1.5 amma wide. And he made 2 cherubim of beaten gold. He made them from the 2 ends of the lid of atonement, 1 cherub at one end on this side and 1 cherub at the other end on that side. He made the cherubim from the lid of atonement from the 2 ends. And the cherubim spread out their wings above and covered the lid of atonement with their wings, with their faces toward each other. The faces of the cherubim were toward the lid of atonement. And he made the table of acacia wood, 2 amma long and 1 amma wide and 1.5 amma high. And he overlaid it with clean gold and made a molding of gold all around it. And he made a rim, a topach, all around, and made a molding of gold for the rim all around it. And he cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put the rings of the 4 corners that were at its 4 legs. The rings were next to the rim, as holders for the poles to lift the table. And he made the poles of acacia wood to lift the table, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the utensils which were on the table, its dishes, and its cups, and its bowls, and its jars for pouring of clean gold. And he made the lampstand of clean gold. He made the lampstand of beaten work, its base and its shaft, its cups, its ornamental knobs, and its blossoms were from it. And 6 branches came out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. There were 3 cups like almond flowers on one branch, with ornamental knob and blossom, and 3 cups like almond flowers on the other branch, a knob and blossom. So for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand were 4 cups like almond flowers, its knobs and its blossoms, and a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same for the 6 branches coming out of it. What are we talking about here, boys? What exactly is this? And there's a lot of gold being used. Kate, what are they making right here?
They're making the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay, and
They're making the lid, and they're putting it all together.
Okay, and then the lampstand that we're talking about here. What are they making here?
It's more of a candle stand. I think it's like a menorah.
It's almost, what, 36? I think I just 37. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom, Angela. Okay, so we're making all the decor, right? And so what is the consistent for all of this stuff that we're making right here? Gold. Everything is of gold. And so this stuff is, I don't think this stuff is like a one-day thing. I think we're probably talking like a lot of days that we're talking when they're building all of this stuff right here. Is what I'm thinking. So it probably took a tremendous amount of time. I mean, when you're dealing with gold, you absolutely have to have massive heat to do this, and you have to, it's a process. And so I would imagine this was probably a month, 2 months maybe. I don't know exactly how big the operation was, but it seems like a lot of stuff and a lot of gold. Okay, where are we at, guys?
On 21 or 22.
21 or 22.
I think you're on 22.
22. Okay. Their knobs and their branches were of it. All of it was one beaten work of gold. And he made its 7 lamps and its snuffers and its trays of clean gold. He made it of a kicker of clean gold and all its utensils. And he made the incense altar of acacia wood, 1 amma long and an amma wide, square and 2 amma high. Its horns were of it. And he overlaid it with clean gold, its tops and its sides all around, and its horns, and made a molding for it of gold all around it. All right, let's check it out. Chat here. Yeah. Hang tight. It's just right here. Okay, 27. And he made 2 rings of gold for it under its molding, as its 2 corners on both sides, as holders for the poles which fit it. And he made the poles of acacia and laid them with gold. And lesson in the hospital, checking on my friend. She's not feeling well. Uh-oh. That's not good. We will pray for your friend, Mama CA. Okay, 29. And he made the Kodesh anointing oil and the clinging incense of sweet spices according to the work of the perfumer. Okay. All right, so let us continue on here. And what we're going to be reading, we're going to redo this exact same chapter right here in the Targums of Exodus. And when we do finish the Targums of Exodus, when we get into Leviticus here, I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring in, instead of the Targums, I think we're going to bring in the Josephus's book. And I think we're going to bring, when he's talking about all of these extracurricular things that he talks about here, I think we're going to line this up and see how this actually lines up with the book of Josephus. And I've been reading Josephus now for a long time. It is a monstrous, huge book. Like, it's absolutely huge. And so there's a tremendous amount of things that are in there. Lots of things that you wouldn't see anywhere else. So I think it might be a good read for all of us as we go into it. Okay. Now, we're going to finish this up here with the read out of the Targums. 37:1. And Bezalel made the ark of Siddim wood, 2 cubits and a half its length, and a cubit and a half its breadth, and a cubit and a half its height. And he covered it with pure gold within and without, and made for it a crown of gold round about. And he cast for it 4 golden rings upon its 4 corners, 2 rings upon one side, and 2 rings upon its second side. And he made the staves of it of Siddim wood, and covered them with gold. And he put the staves into the rings upon the sides of the ark to carry the ark. This is interesting, right? So the actual things that lift the ark up, right, is made. They made it out of wood, right? And so you have a long pole that is of wood, and then it's covered with gold. Yeah, I know, sis. Sister Barb, I'm applying to her on this. He was on the payroll for most of his life. Yeah, no, you can't. This is the thing about the book of Josephus. You got to be extremely schooled in Torah to get through this book, because there's a tremendous amount of stuff. And, it's like, it's good for the first little bit. And then we get to the part of Solomon, and Josephus is like a little cheer group. Like, it starts talking about Solomon casting out demons. It talks about him having there's other books, but it talks about him having this ring of power, and he's able to conjure stuff and to do all sorts of stuff. And it's stuff that when you read scriptures is stuff we're supposed to stay away from, absolutely stay away from. And in the book of Josephus is sitting there cheering this on. He's like, oh yes, this guy, look at him. He's able to beat up the demons, and they would never enter again. And I'm sure there's something to be said for some of that, but what happened to Solomon and where he came up from, and the fact that Josephus cheers for him during that point is very bizarre, because everybody would have been cheering for him, and what he's doing is out of covenant. And I don't know if this is true or not, but we were reading another book this morning, and it's like I don't know if it's true, but it's supposed to be a book that Paul wrote to the Corinthians after the very first Corinthians that he said that they tore up. And the second book that he's talking about, or the second book that is basically one of the lost books, he talks about where Solomon's wives went out and they actually were in some weird battle. Solomon ended up with like another 3,000 wives after that. Like it was just very, very odd. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, after 1,000 wives, what's the difference between another, 3,000 wives? What does it matter at that point? All right, so continuing on, 37:6. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half the length, and a cubit and a half its breadth, but its thickness was a span. And he made 2 cherubim of pure gold, beaten made he them, on the 2 sides of the mercy seat. 1 cherub and 1 cherub on that side of beaten work. And the cherubim were face to face. They were not separated from the mercy seat, but by the wisdom of the Ruach of prophecy, he made the cherubim on its 2 sides. Just reading, ganging up on him. Yeah, so it's no wonder Solomon's always talking about hanging out on the rooftop, right? It's better to be on a rooftop than it is to be with a contentious woman. This dude had, at least that we know, 1,000 contentious women at that point, and I don't know how you could ever feel like a true wife when you have 999 other women that you're competing with at some point. And I don't know. It's just it's a messed up deal. Okay, 37:9. And the cherubim spread forth their wings with their heads upward, overshadowing the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces were toward each other. Over against the mercy seat were the faces of the cherubim. And he made the table of cedar wood, 2 cubits its length, and a cubit its breadth, and a cubit and a half its height. And he covered it with pure gold and made it for a golden crown all around. Okay, so this is interesting too, right? Because everything that is under this gold, they made it of wood, right? And so essentially they made all this stuff. It's all wood covered up with gold, which would make it extremely strong. But it just kind of goes to show you guys what they could do back in the day, which is amazing. They can heat that stuff up to those heat and able to do all this kind of stuff. How could Solomon, having all those wives, been in good with Yahuwah? Well, I don't know. Not even the wives, but he started offering all of these wives. Every single wife he had like a different religious structure, right? They all came from queens and princesses from other countries that they all carried along all of their stuff. It's nearly impossible at the point of Solomon's end of his life that he was good with that. Josephus was a Pharisee, absolutely. And so, but I mean, at the same time, he does a very good job. And if somebody hasn't read the book of Josephus and you guys are out there knocking it, I would spend several months and attempt to read it before you guys knock it, because it's like all these other books, the people in the Apocrypha that say, oh, the Apocrypha is no good, you can't read the Apocrypha, and then you actually read the Apocrypha and it goes, wow, we absolutely needed this. And so I think the book of Josephus is an absolute must, because it gives a tremendous amount of history that you do not get anywhere else. And then when you do research it, some of it, it's actually legit. And so as long as you guys are very schooled in the Torah, where you can't be led astray, then I don't see anything wrong with reading things such as Josephus. You won't find a book like Josephus anywhere else. Anywhere.
Take the leaven out just like we do with the Torah.
Yeah, and exactly. Take the leaven out of it. And when you see that the Jews are back in the day were all celebrating the work of Solomon, that he's able to control the demons the way he did and control the jinn, that's what they were looking at. And you have to understand that these people, that was their leader for back in the day. That was their guy that probably couldn't make any mistakes, but he was sitting there making the most mistakes. Yeah, pray for discernment before you read it. Yeah, everybody. I mean, you shouldn't read anything without discernment. You shouldn't read man-made documents. You shouldn't read stuff that is possibly to it. If you run into stuff that is completely that changes the law, statutes, and commandments, then absolutely it's not right? But if you're reading stuff for a historical account, and you just get more understanding, that's the thing about Josephus. You're not going to find as many adjectives as you do in Josephus. Stuff you had no idea that even happened that does make sense with it as it goes. So just be schooled in Torah. Don't just go reading stuff without it, obviously. Okay, 12. And he made a border for it. Its height span around about, and he made a crown of gold for the border round about. And he cast for it 4 golden rings, and set the rings upon the 4 corners of its 4 feet. Over against the border were the rings, the place for the staves in carrying the table. And he made the staves of cedar wood, and covered them with gold for carrying the table. And he made the vessels to be upon the table, its dishes, and its bowls, and its measures, and its cups, for the lavings of pure gold. And he made the candelabrum of pure gold, beaten made he the candelabrum. Its base and its shaft, its cups, its apples, and its lilies were the same. And, as Katrina talks about that he was a Pharisee, that when we're talking about Josephus, I would like to explain that Shaul was absolutely a bigger Pharisee than Josephus ever was, right? Brother Shaul, who you have 7/8 of the scriptures that supposedly were written by him, he was the greatest of the Pharisees. In fact, he studied under the greatest Pharisee of all. And so when you're reading the book of Paul, you need to be as diligent, and you need to pray that you have understanding, that you are not led astray, that the words of Paul are a call for rebellion, right? And that's the thing. Was Brother Shaul's letters put into scriptures so that the people who would be rebellious never ever read the rest of it. And so that is the test of Brother Shaul, is that those who only have their Elohim as Shaul have been led astray, right? You have to study yourself to be approved. Workmen who are not ashamed because we have rightly divided the word of truth. Rightly dividing the word of truth is not taking 7/8 of the book and say, Paul is my doctrine, but it's taking all of scriptures. And when something is off, when something does not line up with scriptures, you raise your eyebrows, right? And if it violates the Torah at all, then we know we're in the wrong place to be. Okay, 37:17. I think we got that one. And he made the candelabrum of pure gold. Beaten made he the candelabrum. Its base and its shafts, its cups, its apples, and its lilies were the same. And 6 branches came from its sides. 3 branches of the candelabrum on one side, and 3 branches of the candelabrum on the second side. 3 embossed cups with their figurations on one cup, with the apple and lily, and 3 embossed cups with their figurations on the other branch, with the apple and lily. So the 6 branches which proceeded from the candelabrum. And upon the candelabrum, 4 embossed cups with their figurations of apples and lilies. And an apple was under the 2 branches, sorry guys, of the same, and an apple under the 2 branches of the same, and an apple under the 2 branches of the same for the 6 branches that proceeded from it. Their apples and their branches were the same, all of it beaten work of pure gold. And he made its 7 lamps, and its sniffers, and its receivers of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold made he it, and all its vessels. And he made the altar of sweet incense of cedar wood, and a cubit's length, and a cubit's breadth, 4 square, and 2 cubits was its height. Its 2 upright horns were the same. And he overlaid it with pure gold, its tops and its sides round about, and its horns, and he made for it a golden crown round about. And 2 golden rings he made for it under its crown, at its 2 corners, upon its 2 sides, to be the place of the staves by which to carry it. And the staves he made of cedar wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the sacred oil of anointing, and the pure sweet incense, the work of a perfumer. All right, folks. For those who have made it through this reading, we thank you guys. This is where we will conclude with all of you guys. And if you guys have any kind of prayer requests, or you guys need anything at all, please send us an email, jboss008@gmail.com. If you guys know any prisoners, male or female, that are in the United States penitentiary system, whether it be federal or whether it be state, if you would like us to get with them, we would absolutely like to get with them. And if you guys can send us an email to the same email, jboss008@gmail.com. If you can give us their name and the prison system they are in, we will add them into the little prison email system, and we will start corresponding with them, and we will absolutely get them a free scriptures. And so that is what we are trying to do. So there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that have been neglected, and the absolute best place that we can reach them is in the absolute darkness, where your freedom has been taken and where everything you have has been flipped upside down. These are the people who are the absolute most receptive to the word of our Creator. So with that, everybody, we hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Jade, will you please send our brothers and sisters off?
Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. They shall put my name upon the children of Yisrael, and I will bless them.
Okay, all right, family. We love you guys very, very much. We are getting ready to say goodbye, and we will, our dogs always go crazy. We have to tell you guys sorry. We have 9 pit bulls. For some reason, whenever we're done with this, they are excited as well, and they're already excited. Tubby just jumped a chair and missed the chair. It's already over. Much love to you guys. We're out. right, fam. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May his grace forever encounter your life. May Messiah Yahushua forever be a piece of your life. And may we all high five each other in the kingdom to come. Much love, everybody. We love you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.